Last year, it all came down to this.
And that means our grand prize winner, and the winner of $10,000 is Dana Cassidy from the University of Florida.
This year, 8 teams from across the nation are vying for the chance to win $10,000. The 16th annual RJI Student Innovation Competition starts now. Featuring RJI Director of Innovation, Kat Duncan. And your host, RJI Executive Director, Randy Picht. And now, put your hands together for Randy Picht.
Thanks, Nathan. Welcome to the Donald W. Reynolds Journalism Institute's 2023 Student Innovation Competition. For the past 16 years, RJI has challenged college students to solve a problem or seize an opportunity in the news industry. Every year, we are inspired and excited to hear from these young minds. This year, we asked college students to come up with a service journalism idea to test out in partnership with a local news source. Service journalism, also known as utility journalism, involves giving readers good, practical advice, what to buy, where to go, how to do a certain thing, to make their lives easier. 8 teams from around the country made it to our final round by not only coming up with an innovative approach, but also crafting a plan to try out with a local news organization. They are Team Bulletin Board, University of Missouri; Team Diamond Gigs, University of Maryland; Team Drip Forest News, Northwestern University; Team Fat Fish, University of Missouri; Team DeVeras, University of Missouri; Team NYU Studio 20, New York University; Team TipBot, Stanford University; and Team Yulee, University of California, Berkeley. One of the key aspects of this competition has always been encouraging students to be creative about solving a problem or seizing an opportunity. That's also part of RJI's DNA. In that spirit, we made sure we were giving the teams as much room to explore as we could. Teams could create anything, a game, an app, an event, anything that they thought would move the needle for their community. To tell us more about this year's competition, I'd like to introduce Kat Duncan, RJI's Director of Innovation, who has been overseeing the many moving parts of this year's edition. Kat?
Thanks, Randy. Since mid-November, the teams have been working hard developing their idea from concept to a working prototype. Earlier this month, we filmed each team presenting their idea, how they implemented it, and their results for our judges to view. Here is a compilation of their work.
Hi, my name is Christina Sherman. I am from Mizzou, and this is the Bulletin Board.
Hi everyone, I'm Nataraj.
Hi everyone, my name is Shri.
And I'm Rena.
Today we'll be talking about the Diamondbacks Jobs Guide.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Ferrara, and this is Drip Force News.
Hi, I'm Heather Wang, a data journalism student at University of Missouri. Here is my project.
Buenas, somos de veras. I'm Crystal Sanchez, and I'm a freshman from Illinois.
I'm Eric Galicia from Santana, California, and I'm a senior.
I'm Lauren Hubbard from Dallas, Texas, and I'm a senior.
Hi, I'm Sharon Quintana, and I am a master's student from Colombia.
We're all students from the Missouri School of Journalism, and we present to you De Veras.
Hi everyone, my name is Jeff Courier, and I'm representing the NYU Journalism School and the Studio 20 Digital Innovation Program.
Hi everyone, my name is Dana Trick. I'm a senior majoring in computer science and communication at Stanford University.
Hello, my name is Maria Fernanda Bernal, and I'm a graduate student at the UC Berkeley School of Journalism.
Here's my idea. I wanted to create a site where all Missouri small businesses existed in a unified space for the public to easily discover and support them.
I have spent the last 4.5 months working tirelessly on a project that will eradicate news deserts in the United States.
The Diamondback Today is a digital news site that's nonprofit, fully independent, and run by students.
My goal is very simple. It's to help the Chinese community to receive the information equally.
I came into an organization that was already hard at work to improve its local product, which meant in order to have impact with this project, I really had to find a footing where I could advocate for utility journalism within my role.
As service journalists, we want to solve readers' problems and foster greater trust. Historically, tip lines have been the main channel for readers to engage with the newsroom, and tips can be anything from a story idea to a question about the community to a rumor that can be reported and fact-checked.
So Yuli is being designed with building healthy communities. I am taking into consideration the people who would use it, people who are differently abled, speak different languages, and have different levels of technology.
What's the overall idea, right? Headlines and leads. You think back 10, 20, 40, 50, 100 years. What do you remember? Not the long-form content. You remember these headlines. War is over in Germany. Japan bombs Pearl Harbor. Titanic sinks after hitting iceberg.
The best way to combat inflation is by local spending. But consumers cannot support what they cannot find. So here's the proposal. The Bulletin Board, a digital bulletin board where Missouri small businesses may post their information in a unified space for easy discovery.
Since launch, we've had at least 70 daily active users, and our metrics also show relative performance of core features such as which tabs are being accessed more often, the wages tab, the job finder, the news tab, and this helps to prioritize resources for future development.
So why it is so hard for them to access the information? I think there are multiple reasons. Being ignored, the coverage of Chinese community is not enough. People who are not physically being here are more likely being ignored.
160,000 people speak Spanish at home in Missouri. Statistics show misinformation is a problem among Latinos. When it comes to a fix for this, and for the lack of trust for the media in our community, we think the onus falls on journalists.
Given Axios Local's success with newsletters, the rest of its local operation is not as fully developed. The vast majority of effort goes into the newsletter. As you can see here with the Axios Boston site, the story that appeared in the newsletter is the same story that appears on the site. As an Axios Boston reader, there's really little incentive to ever go to the website if I read the newsletter. And this is a missed opportunity for Axios, not only in terms of revenue and traffic, but in terms of building reader habits.
Because TipBot has analyzed and asked for more information in a follow-up, it's more comprehensive and allows the journalists to make a better decision. Rather than replacing reporters, the automation behind TipBot empowers reporters to make better decisions about which tips to pursue.
When people use Yuli, people are going to become exposed and aware about all the local news spaces that exist, and it will also empower local news that way.
With vibrant colors, loud music, and the constant buzz of laughter in Latina communities also comes with fear and having to earn their trust. De Veras strives to earn that trust and withstand it in our reporting.
This project works. It is a utility journalism piece, as is evident by the news coverage from the Edina Sentinel. It reduces inflation, so it helps solve an economic issue. It helps answer the question, where are local small businesses near me? And it serves the community by helping them to decide today to support a small business.
It's not a social media platform. It's not Nextdoor or Patch. It goes farther than both of those. It combines them, adds reporting, adds a sense of kind of learning, verification, and really creates a one-of-a-kind experience.
Thankfully, the OpenAI API already supports different languages, and it's just a matter of implementing it into my solution to make sure a huge swath of the community doesn't go unheard.
To wrap up, our idea is news you can use for the diverse Latina populations in Missouri.
Thank you
for listening.
Have a great day.
To help RJI choose the top projects from this impressive group, we reached out to 3 industry news veterans. Our judges this year are Dana Emmy here is the founder and executive editor of Afro LA, a nonprofit digital newsroom and newsletter covering the Black community in Greater Los Angeles that launched earlier this year. Andrew Hazard is a staff reporter for the Sahan Journal, a nonprofit digital newsroom and a member of the Society of Environmental Journalists. Andrea Pineda Salgado is the community reporter at Epicenter NYC, which highlights culture, art, small businesses, and civic life in New York City. The judges based their selections on 5 main criteria. How did the team come up with the idea? Was it based on research, data, and other factors to decide the community need and feasibility? Did the project get implemented, meet the milestones, and overcome the hurdles it encountered? How did the team measure impact and success? Could the idea be replicable and applicable in more communities and newsrooms across the country? And is the idea sustainable after the competition? In late March, our judges watched the team's presentations, asked each group questions about their projects, and compared notes. Let's get some of their impressions on the competition. Here they are discussing the student submissions from the Judges Lounge. What surprised you this year with the student submissions?
I was most surprised by the clear identification of issues that each group tried to solve, right? Every project had a defined problem, and they really went out and tried to put a solution together for the community. And I think that's going to serve them all really well, embracing the concept of service journalism as they embark on their careers, because newsrooms are kind of realizing we can't just tell people stuff, we actually have to provide useful information that communities want.
Did anything surprise either of you with the student submissions?
I was really impressed with the amount of thoughtfulness and research that went into each project. Each student had a target community in mind, and they were able to think of clever ways to reach them and begin implementing their project. I think that each of these projects has a sustainable future ahead of them, and I really hope that the students continue to work on them.
Yeah, I definitely feel the same way. One thing that I thought was really interesting is that all of these were works of service journalism, utility journalism, but each of the teams interpreted what that meant in a different way. And it definitely showed a breadth and a diversity in how they addressed that in terms of news needs for an audience and for readership. However, all of their projects were really well done, and they were all grounded in that service journalism mission, in accessibility, in transparency, and in equity, which again, I think will serve them very well going forward.
Absolutely.
Dana, what do you think the student teams did well this year? What really stood out?
I think one of the things that really stood out to me was the diversity of ideas. They all had a service journalism mission, but they covered very, very different problems that they were trying to address, and very diverse communities that they were trying to reach as their target audience. And they also had varying ways that they were doing this, whether it was very technology-based or whether it was something that was much more grassroots outreach and something a little bit more analog. I was really impressed by just the diversity among all the projects.
Yeah, I think the students did a really great job of sort of trying to not assume that they had the answer to the problem up front, and that what they did really well was the initial front-end research, right? Kind of clearly saying, okay, this is a problem, but who is it a problem for, and how can we do something that makes it easier for these people to navigate their lives in the public? That was really impressive to me.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I had mentioned, like, I was really impressed by the thoughtfulness and research, because each community that they had in mind, like, needed different things, and they were able to think of those different things. Like, they didn't have to take from other projects or anything. They just were able to focus on one community and meet their needs.
That's great stuff. Thanks, Kat, and thanks to our 3 judges who had the never easy job of choosing the top teams from an outstanding list of teams. All right, we're heading into the home stretch. Before we reveal this year's top 3 teams, I would like to thank all of our participating students who are really all winners for taking on this challenge and putting in the hours of work to try something new to help journalism get stronger. Your ideas were thoughtful and creative, and your commitment to see that idea through to the finish line is admirable and much appreciated. So thank you again. And finally, I want to thank Kat Duncan for your leadership and oversight of the competition from start to finish. There are no small number of moving parts to keep this competition on track, and you know how to keep everything moving in the right direction, and I very much appreciate those efforts. Okay. Now the moment we've been waiting for, it's time to reveal the top 3 finalists. Actually, our judges were so impressed with all of our student submissions, they decided to create a new category, honorable mention. There were 2 teams they wanted to recognize with this distinction. Let's hear from our judges.
It was a hard decision. So there were a couple of teams you sort of saw as honorable mentions. What did you like about those projects that made it really tough to pick those top 3 out of those 5?
For me, it was really difficult seeing these projects that they had something that was a working prototype. They clearly put a lot of research and effort into it. They definitely had the audience it was that they wanted to serve, but they weren't quite as far along as our projects that are our top three. But they definitely are worthy of recognition for the hard work that they did put in. I think with a little bit more fine tuning, a little bit more refining, that they could be just as well and just as sustainable in the future.
Yeah, I think there's a number of projects that didn't place here that are still fantastic ideas that are worthy of pursuing and that honestly could get any one of these students a job that could be scalable and it could still be implemented in the future, right? So the difficulty here was that people really had well thought out ideas and ideas that they're already implementing. And so I think that's what made it so difficult to sort of narrow down. But as Dana said, the winners or the finalists or the top three that we chose here, they were chosen just because they had a little bit more refinement going on with their projects and a little clearer model of how, okay, this can start working right now, or maybe it's already working.
Please help me congratulate our honorable mention winners, Team Bulletin Board and Team Fat Fish. Okay, now for our top three finalists. They are Team DeVeris, University of Missouri, Team TipBot, Stanford University, and Team Diamond Gigs, University of Maryland. So let's start with third place. Here's what the judges had to say about this project.
Andrew, why did the third place team place in the top three?
This team placed in the top three because they really delivered a usable product for their community. They did a great job of doing a ton of background research, and then they actually implemented that in something that is user-friendly, easy to consume, that helps people, right, in their everyday lives. And that's really what service journalism is all about. I also think that they created something that can easily be scaled and moved into other markets if they want to.
Our third place team and the winner of $1,000 is Team Diamond Gigs from the University of Maryland. Go Terrapins! Very nice work, folks. Thanks for all your hard work and for entering the competition, and best of luck with what comes next. And then there were two. Before I announce who won second place, let's hear what the judges had to say about this project.
Dana, why did the second place team win second place?
We really loved the second place project because of their use of technology, but using it in a responsible way. In an environment right now where we have a lot of dedication and a lot of use of technology, but not always thinking of the repercussions for communities, especially marginalized or vulnerable communities, I think that this project really thought through some of those consequences and tried to be prepared to face them in future iterations and in the prototype that they created now. I also think that they did a really great job of being human-centered in the design of their prototype and of how they implemented their project.
In second place, and the winner of $2,500 is Team TipBot from Stanford University. Congratulations. That means our $10,000 grand prize winner is Team DeVeris of the University of Missouri. Congratulations, Team DeVeris. Before we hear more about your project, let's listen to what our judges had to say.
Andrea, why did the first place team take home the big prize?
Because we were really impressed with the amount of thought and research that went into them. Their outreach strategy was really great. They were able to go out to the community and meet them rather than the other way around. we also think that this project and this team really knew who their community was, and they put their needs first, and they made those needs a priority. And this project, this idea is something that not a lot of newsrooms have, but is very desperately needed.
Hi guys, can you hear me? Congratulations, it's very exciting.
Thank you so much.
So your project was just terrific from start to execution, from the idea to actually giving it a try. I wonder, now that you've kind of been doing it for a little while, what is the biggest takeaway that you guys got from doing this project?
I think for me personally, it was seeing like the community impact that it had based off of the posts that we were putting on our Instagram. You know, people would reach out to us and say, hey, like, what can I do if I need help with this medical issue? And we would be able to send them a post. We would have that resource for them, which was really awesome. And just getting to explain the project to locals and Latinos in our community, and they would say, hey, like, thank you for what you're doing. And like, that was really impactful as well. Just seeing that like what we're doing is really important and is helping people. And that's exactly what we wanted from the beginning.
And so, any surprises along the way?
Any surprises? This is probably the biggest surprise. Or also being able to build relationships with our community too. I know that at the beginning we had some obstacles, but even through the obstacles, just being able to persevere and being able to understand how we can cater best to our community too.
You know, and finally, I think one of the things that this addresses is news deserts. Like, that was kind of the beginning of what you were trying to address. But it seems like it could maybe address other news deserts, like rural communities or communities in cities. Have you thought about how you can kind of spread your idea out?
Yeah, so I mean, our idea kind of does apply to rural communities. We're in Columbia, which is a city, you know, but we are focusing on surrounding communities up to about an hour to 2.5 hours away that are much more rural, where there actually is a much larger percentage of, you know, Hispanics in those populations. And well, yeah, you know, like, I mean, especially as our population continues to grow, this is something that, I mean, it could really be applied anywhere. And you know, we believe that this is, it all comes, you know, back to trust building, right? Trust building with these communities who don't see themselves represented in the media. They need journalists to reach out to them and build those relationships, you know? So.
All right, well, congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so that's our competition. Congratulations to all our winners and to all our teams who did a great job. Also, I would like to thank Nathan Lee and Maggie Turner on camera today, Sophie Van Dyne on audio, and Travis McMillan for directing, and Joni Straub, RJI's Director of Communications, for producing. I appreciate all your hard work behind the scenes in the development and production of today's award show. For more information about RJI, please visit our website at rjionline.org. Thank you to all who joined us today.